Welcome to War Games, hosted by the sales genius Joe Ingram. If you're looking to win the sales battle, then you have joined the right team. In the War Games group, we devise strategies for sales, marketing, branding, mindset, and attitude. We enlist the assistance from the most successful producers across all industries. We then share their knowledge and techniques with you. Our single goal is to get you ready for your next sales opportunity. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that have crossed before you. Now, prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for the War Games to begin.
We play a game.
Welcome, War Gamers. It is Wednesday. I'm your host, Joe Ingram, the sales genius. And as always, I am always excited to bring on a guest trainer. Why? Because it's less work for me, but it also keeps you guys from going parent deaf to whatever I'm saying. So I want to make sure you guys get some value. And I started digging around, and we have had another family member of our guest today on the show already. And so again, evidently there's just something in the genes that comes through the Sims family, because they're all successful entrepreneurs, right? And I'm talking today about Henry. Henry, not bringing you up yet. So what we're doing with Henry today, he came from that entrepreneurial family, which means he got to see what was good, what was bad, as he says, the good, the bad, and the ugly behind being an entrepreneur and how to juggle multiple businesses. So coming back from his formal education of mechanical engineering and kinesiology, wow, I really butchered that word. He's going to make fun of me later. Right? But he understood that nothing was that field. I myself resonate with that, being the electrical engineer that is now in sales and has a much better personality for sales than I did for engineering. And so he now, okay, this is something absolutely crucial, and this is why I invited him on, is he helps you bring clarity and simplicity to whatever your business goals are and putting the branding behind it. Because I think, we talk a lot about it on our group, right? And I'm going to add him up here on the screen. Henry, how are you? So you don't get to talk yet, Henry. I'm still bragging about you, right? So when you look, what is Henry doing? So we all have what I find the schizophrenic moments, or almost the multiple personality disorder when it comes to marketing, branding. And Henry's specialty is unscrewing up what you've just screwed up. And so he can highlight a lot of things and help you to bring it down. Because we talk on this show quite often about that. Johnny Richardson's out here, the shark. You can always tell by the sharks. We go out and put out messages, but we talk about what is your avatar? Are you dialing into that avatar? But what happens if you haven't defined your avatar? And Henry, you might see this a lot too, where we go, today I want to hit this department, I want to hit this, right? Me going in sales, I have a huge following and a huge reputation, right, of automotive. And then I went out into the chiropractic, dental. I went into moving companies, software sales, video gaming, all of these things. And so if I want to go put out a message, I'm like, which hat am I spinning around to do that? Yes, my inmate orange. I think it's the bad lighting, because this is actually Santa Claus red, and I match really well, but it does look like I am an inmate. But as you can tell, I'm in the warden's office, so it will go well. But Henry, welcome to War Games. Thanks for carving out time in your day.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Good. Give me, again, we talked off air where I was like, don't give me everything, because I want everybody reaching out to you. But you're partnered in Sims Media.
Yes.
Okay. And so you specialize in decluttering the messaging that people put out there. So what do you see is, again, we can say decluttering and people go, yeah, I get it. Don't be cluttered. But it doesn't mean they actually understand what it is you're looking at to get done. So
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Look, we already got somebody else coming in here. Krista Marie, love her, right? That's what she does to herself. Just tell me what the hell I actually need to do. Yes, so that's what she's looking for. But yes, talk to me, Henry.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, the concept of decluttering sounds very simple, and we do hope to make it that way. But the reason why we have a hard time staying clear today is because as busy entrepreneurs, we're constantly trying to move forward. And we're always looking at the new things that come up, jumping into the chat bots and the different funnels we can build and all this kind of stuff. And especially different social media platforms. Anytime a platform comes up, we look at it, we see how people are using it, and it kind of creates this idea of how we think we're supposed to show up on that particular platform and use it. And we start redefining ourselves as we start jumping from tool to tool and platform to platform, thinking that we need to reshape ourselves to work perfectly for that platform. But the effect is we're an omni-channel society. When we hear about someone and we want to do research on a business, we look at all these different channels, their websites and their different social profiles, wherever we can find them. And now we start seeing different personalities on these different platforms, and it creates confusion as to who we're actually dealing with. And the big, dramatic example is if you look at Facebook or Instagram versus LinkedIn, you'll have someone who's in a bathing suit on Instagram or Facebook, but then they're in a suit and tie on LinkedIn. And you're like, well,
I feel attacked, Henry. I mean, it was a two-piece, so it covered plenty that was there. And my orange inmate person, that's Brian Galkey, the one that you and I are going to gang up on today.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think Brian should shave his eyebrows so he can't tell what mood he's in or what he wants to do. But,
well, as he would say, that's probably the chameleon brow. We got to lean in.
Yes. Look, we all listen to you, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So
Brian's awesome.
Okay, so now we're saying I'm professional, but then on another social media, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there times that's okay? Is it times where you're like, hey, I'm going to be over here, and this is like for me, like email wise, Hotmail means I'm giving you my junk email. I don't want to even know about it. Right. Yeah. So that was when you look and go, okay. But on social media, I know certain people do certain things on Snapchat. Somebody will do it on Instagram, do it, whatever. I'm banned on almost every platform except LinkedIn. And I think it's probably because I don't make any political statements or, repost anything Elon posts or something. But so how much of that, and I think this is, again, I'm very selfish. That's why I'm on the screen. I get to pick your brain.
Yeah.
So, and I think this goes with Krista Marie as well. Amy Lee's also on here too. Are we supposed to be this single channel person, or are we supposed to be multifaceted? And is social media only for business, or, okay, that's just, I'm throwing it out there. Because I get torn. I really legitimately get torn on, should it all be business on Instagram, or is Instagram going to be the funny, isn't it great? And then, that kind of stuff. So
if we are entrepreneurs and we're trying to grow our business, it would be silly not to utilize these free media channels to do so. So you don't have to be strictly business and you don't have to be strictly personal. We vote that you do both, because if you're strictly business and that's all you're focused on, and to an extreme scale, then there's no personality to it. And that takes away the power of branding, which is the personality factor of creating this business that has a personality that connects with your ideal audience and differentiates you from the other competitive businesses as well. So when it comes to social media, the simple thing is that they're just outlets for connecting with your audience. So if you're watching the news, the same kinds of stories are reported, but just across different channels. It doesn't really matter which one you consume it through, what anchor you prefer to watch. You're still going to get a lot of the same info. So social media should be the same way. You want to be able to show the value and expertise that you have and can provide to your audience, but then you also want to mix in your personality so that they know who they're dealing with, and it creates those talking points. It creates differentiators from the competition. Surprisingly, over the years, I have had funny little things pop up that people resonate with. One has always been motorcycling. I always share my motorcycle trips and going to the racetrack. Recently, I've been obsessed over the last year with coffee, and I got one of these fancy espresso machines, and here and there I'll put up a video or a photo of me trying to make latte art and failing miserably at it. But people enjoy to see you behind the scenes and what kind of stuff makes you tick. And so lots of clients of ours and lots of our audience really enjoy the coffee side of things, and it creates this thing that we can connect on and that we can actually start the conversation with. And it makes it, we like doing business with people that we like. So we really need to bring more of that into our business. So social media are simply outlets that give you the opportunity to put you and your business out there to your audience, but you do want to keep it consistent across all the platforms, because we're going to research you across all of them. So if you start looking different, and even to the dramatic side of things where some people will have one offer on a particular platform and think they have to do a different offer on another, your business doesn't change because of the platform. Just show up everywhere. There's lots of tools that allow you to easily show up on all the platforms at once. So when you hone into your core of like, who am I? Who am I trying to help? How do I help them? And then you just put that absolutely everywhere. There's no confusion. People can find you wherever, know where to go, know how you can help them. Don't try and redefine who you are to work on a particular platform how you think you need to. All platforms are always changing, and they update and new audience adopt it. So show up how you want to show up and how your audience wants to see you.
Fantastic. I'm going to throw something up on the bottom of the screen. That's where everybody can find you. Is that right?
You should be able to. I know we got that domain recently, or it's sims.media.
See, I think I just did it. Simsmedia.com. It forwards to sims.media.
Perfect.
But eliminate the confusion and amplify the solution. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Okay, good. So I tested it before, so that's when my eyes drift away. I'm like, yes. But okay, so I'm writing things down. So one of the things is the stay focused on business, but do both. So do you have like this, and again, I don't want to dig into the super secrets, but do you have like, do 5 business posts, add a personal, do 10, do a personal, and do that? Like, because I can go through your social media and go, okay, when was the last time you did a coffee video?
Yes.
And do that.
So I think when it comes to business videos as well, as long as they're not direct salesy pushing type posts, you can put as many as you want. But I think it's important to figure out how you can introduce your personality into it. So the worst thing is just every single posting that you put up being a direct call to action to buy something from you. Right. You need to establish the trust. You need to display the value, and also give some value so that they understand, like, okay, wow, I get some value from this guy. Imagine if I paid him what he could actually give me. So as long as you're giving valuable content around business, you're serving your audience and you're building a relationship with them. So there's already that element of trust being built, but peppering in those just personal posts of me at the racetrack and that kind of stuff, that is also incredibly valuable to create those talking points and understand the personality. I think Gary Vaynerchuk does a fantastic job of, a lot of his content isn't necessarily geared towards specific business tactics. Some of it's just motivational. Some of it's just fun, but everything that he's doing builds this personality. And like you were saying earlier about going and working through different industries and redefining yourself, Gary can go into any kind of industry. He can have his media company. He can launch a wine company. He can release sneakers. He can do all of these kinds of things, but he's not changing at all the whole time. But he's built a reputation and audience that understands the level of quality that he puts behind anything that he does. So immediately you have a vibe and sense of trust for whatever he dives into. So
Right.
his brand is independent of those individual ventures, but they are an extension of his core and personality. So if someone likes wine, heck, I'll try the wine because I like Gary and I trust what he jumps into. So that's what he's done, is built this personality and trust with his audience. But you understand more the person behind everything that's being done.
Okay, perfect. Now, here's my question as that came up. How long is it before I develop trust? Is it unique for every person? Right. Let's see, who was it? The Google guy at the book signing event was saying that, he goes, typically there's touch points you have to have with people. I'm like, yeah, 7 touch points before they buy. He goes, wow, you know that. I'm like, I would hope so. I'm the sales guy, right? And he said Google has like now 500 touch points. So they're ready to sell you 15 years from now.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going to move you through that. Do you see, and again, maybe it's platform or it's not, right? Because I will tell you, I don't know the results because I've never been consistent on all like my platforms. So to me, I would be looking at LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, right? And so I love LinkedIn more than most of the different ones, and I can tell that by my stuff. And TikTok is creeping up in there too as a place to go. So I'd love to look at that. But
yeah,
and I do post there, and I've had some success with it. But now, one question. So I had one video that 100,000 views on TikTok. Okay. Is that the niche I'm supposed to stay in? Because evidently that would technically be the first call to action, say that's my audience. Or am I supposed to? Because again, it wasn't business related. So that's where I get confused. And I'm like, well, am I supposed to sit there and just slap our government all the time? Because that's what my views came from. But that's what I look at. But I'll let you answer. So since I'm occupying it, but yeah.
So it's the touch point question that you were talking about and the time span. That all depends, especially like if you were to work with a lower ticket offer and a higher ticket offer. It's going to take more work to establish trust for someone to buy into the high ticket offer than it would the low, just with the risk involved. But when you focus on the branding, and if we look at marketing and why branding needs to come before marketing, if you don't pay attention to your branding, then the marketing is most likely going to take a whole lot longer and more effort, more touch points, more money to actually establish some kind of connection with your audience and make that conversion. The goal with branding is to create ridiculous clarity to connect with your perfect audience so that those touch points are more effective. And therefore, your marketing should work quicker and you shouldn't need as many touch points. So when you hone in on the branding, it should reduce how much effort and time goes into those other elements because you're speaking directly to your audience. And that's where the major value of it is, because you're not competing on who can spend more and have more complex advertising campaigns or whatever to beat the other advertisers. You're looking at just using these channels to reach your audience. And if you know how to talk to them, then you're going to connect and it's going to be a much more effective touch point. So that's where the branding does play a massive role. And that's how it creates this much more tangible understanding of how it can affect your marketing. So the touch points, there's not necessarily a set amount, but if you have marketing in place and you kind of know how long it takes and what your conversion rates look like, if you take a step back and look at making sure all your socials are the same, making sure that you're showing up exactly as you need to, making sure that all the wording is directly geared towards your ideal audience, then over time, you'll start seeing that the ads you create and the content you put out and your campaigns in general are going to perform a whole lot better because it's geared so much closer to that audience that you're trying to reach. It's not just a scattergun approach.
Fantastic. And again, you said determine branding first.
Yeah.
So what's your definition of branding when you look at that?
If we look at our core of very simply like what our expertise is, who we want to help with that expertise, and then how we would deliver that, then those three questions are very basic for understanding a bigger picture and then starting to refine that. Then you start niching down and looking like, okay, who is the best possible client that I could help? And you start looking at how you can talk exactly to them. So one of my pieces of advice for people who are trying to make content and they're scared of being on camera and making content is once you understand and kind of think maybe it's you in the past where you used to be and you're trying to help that person get to where you are now, then just talk directly to them. You know what questions they have, you know what stage they're at. And your content, you can just pretend you're talking to that exact person because they're the ones that's going to resonate with it the most. So when you're looking at that of how to make the content and then how to make the campaigns, then you just start thinking about exactly the best possible person you could impact the most. And then that's going to start tailoring things on your ideal client, but then also looking at how you want to differentiate yourself. And that kind of starts getting more personal as to my personality type and how you want to present yourself. And then looking at the competitors out there to see how you want to differentiate yourself from them. With us, we saw that a lot of agencies in general are very dull on the way they present themselves. You look at their websites and they're very, I would say maybe corporate, very spacey, very
vanilla is what I call them.
It's just not very entertaining. And so the first thing we were doing was like, no, screw that. Our personality with the rock and roll jewelry and motorcycles and all that kind of stuff.
Black t-shirts.
Yeah. And just getting straight to the point, no fluffy BS.
Yep.
We wanted to bring that raw style into everything we do. And so immediately our website was like kind of tear marks and black and white splashes and red and all that kind of stuff. And it immediately was a differentiator from these other websites on how they showed up, which is obviously going to resonate with some and not with others. And that's what we're trying to do is resonate with the people that like our style because we're going to like working with them as well.
Fantastic. So down below, the person who said nice was Bob Donnell, our mutual friend. So he's got that one. So in looking at this is one of the things that came up. Tom Bosick is out there. What's up, Tom? Tom says there's multiple Facebook users because StreamYard and Facebook get into arguments all the time. But I think what he did was sum up what you had said before was brand plus connection plus channel plus your quality of message equals a higher conversion. So now my translation of what you said just previously is because I've heard this multiple times that you are best suited to help the previous version of you.
Yeah.
Right. And then your answer was talk to yourself effectively, which is that person. Mm-hmm. So what I wrote down over here, because I'm always writing on the side, right, was talk to the old you. Right. So you have to go back and remember the roadblocks you had. I always say on the road to the sale, there's plenty of potholes. Okay. And then resources you wish you had known were available at that time. So you can definitely, just from roadblocks, potholes, and resources, that alone could give you a ton of actual content
Yeah.
to sit back to. And so that's just, to me, thank you, because that blew my head up.
And that's part of the most valuable content you could make. I'll tell you a couple tools that if you ever struggle with what to make for content, you're not alone on that. Like, being creative is difficult. So some of the tools that we really enjoy that make it so much easier to make content and relevant content.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to look at solving people's questions and problems in your content, I love a tool called Answer the Public. And what it does is scrape Google search queries, and you can go in there and you can buy the pro version. We do, obviously, because we just use it a ton and it's awesome for research for our clients and for us. Otherwise, you can get a certain amount of free uses a day or something, but you could put in your keywords around your business. So for me, if I went in there and I typed in branding and then set the search for the United States, it's going to give me the top searched questions and queries around the word branding in the United States in like the last year. And that is what people are searching. That's what your audience is looking for. So when you can look at all those questions, and now all of a sudden you've got at least 50 questions that you can make into 50 videos, you're making a ton of content, but it's answering every single question that your audience is asking. So they're going to go, how this guy knows exactly my problem. This person knows exactly how to help me. And so now you're creating incredibly relevant content, establishing a lot of trust. Now you just need to figure out how to pepper in some of your personality. So that could be in the way you edit your videos. It could be in you posting some stuff about being at the racetrack, doing the hobbies you love doing, because now you've established the trust, you've proven the value. Now you're showing whether or not they like you enough to work with you as well. But
Right.
Answer the Public is a great one. And even if you just did it per platform, like YouTube is a great one. If you just go into the search bar and you type in your keyword, like for me, branding, or a lot of you guys, sales, then you'll start seeing the most popular suggested queries pop up below it. And now you can start looking at what's popping up, what videos are being made around this search term. Now you make your version on those, and you are making content on the most highly searched relevant topics around your industry. So you really display yourself as the authority and solution to your audience.
That is awesome. So, and when I'm listening to you and I'm starting to formulate as we go through. So Thank you for making me think. So Tom Bosick says, predict the question before it's asked.
Yes.
I'm going to say it's already being asked, right? You're just going to go provide the answer they couldn't find until you did it.
Yeah.
Right? Tyler Preston wants everybody to know that you can't be as creative as me, but he was referring to me. So he's like, yeah, not everybody. Now, guys, I understand that. And that's a great resource when you look at that. There's another one out there that's completely free, and it's called Ask Socrates. So Ask Socrates does the same thing as the public. And so, but one of the things I found too is because there's times I get stuck. So I may have a question and then I go, I don't want to sound too stupid. I don't want to do any of this other stuff. Right. And the logical thing is once you're making money, you go, hey, guess what, Henry, I need some help. Make sure I'm not too cluttered. I'm not screwed up. Do whatever. Go to Sims Media. Right. You can apply for a call, right. For a clarity call, which, come on, we all need to do that. And then you also had a pop-up for digital evaluation of your online stuff. That was great. So he's got tools to help you do that. One of the things I've been using lately, just to get my head wrapped around what content I could write out, was Chat GPT.
Yes.
That is amazing, that stuff that's out there. And you can just keep going. clarify further.
Yeah.
And this AI is going to tell you stuff. But one of the things you said, right? If you have the content, it's how are you peppering in your personality?
Yeah.
And so everybody can go out and type in onto something and get a topic, but it's going to be how you deliver it as opposed to just blah saying it. And can you deliver it so it resonates with the right people? And so, dude, you hurt my head today. I want you to know that. So,
Well, we are trying to keep it simple. And what I would say as well is that as we move into the future, I think branding now, it's like the saying of like, when's the best time to plant a tree? Like years ago or today.
Yes.
I think that's the same with branding, because we've already seen that. I think we've had a massive privilege and have had it easy over the last few years with a lot of third-party data, Facebook and all these advertising platforms giving us so much information about the people using it and how we've been able to just push buttons to put a video directly in front of that audience. But a lot of that's going away. A lot of data capture is being restricted due to privacy issues. And then as we move forward, there's more competition. There's going to be more businesses. So everything's getting saturated, and our ability to just push a button and target the exact audience is being restricted. So the only way that we can self-target and hit our audience is by truly focusing on the branding of identifying our expertise, how we want to show up and differentiate ourselves in our market, and then how we want to deliver that value to our audience. And if we can start getting clear on those elements and then start developing all the assets around it, the podcasts, the website, the social media content, and have all of those digital assets working together for us, then it's going to be a whole lot easier as we move forward to actually connect with our ideal client versus everyone else. We're going to be able to cut through all the noise rather than trying to compete on top of it.
That's fantastic. All right. So we have creeped up to the 30 minutes that I told you I would occupy you. So you probably have a coffee to make or something because it's the afternoon rush. But yes. So in understanding everything you went through. So I've already got on my summary here was stay focused on business, but you got to do both personal and business. Because again, when do I engage with you the most? Motorcycle posts, right? As soon as you post about the motorcycle, I'm like, yes, we got it. Yeah. So it's got to be there. But one thing I took away that was great was treat it like a news story, which means the news shouldn't be changing regardless of whatever your opinion is on that one, right? Mm-hmm. But the news should be the news regardless of the platform that you're listening to it on. So think of that when you put your stuff together. Eliminate the confusion that is out there. Branding before marketing, right? Mm-hmm. My favorite part of the whole thing was talk to the old you, discuss those roadblocks, potholes, resources you wish you knew you had before, right? And you just shared with us the answer the public, stuff like that. That would have been great for anybody to know 6 months ago. Yeah. Who's sitting there going, what do I create for content? But literally go out and put the answers out to all that stuff that's out there. But no, so that is absolutely perfect. So somebody wants to get in touch with you. Where do they find you?
You can find me at Henry D. Sims on all major platforms, or you can reach out through sims.media, whereas you've got simsmedia.com down there.
Which forwards to sims.media. Yes.
Goes there.
Yes. And I also threw out there because I went back to it. I was like, ooh, look, you got the clarity call, which is its own, right? sims.media/clarity call. Yep. That you can get on there. But if you go to sims.media or Sims Media, when you get there, you can see that you can apply for that. And then Henry will decide whether or not he likes you enough to actually talk to you. Right. So you have to be that kind of person. But perfect. I thank you so much, Henry, because again, you gave me my whole little list of things I got to go do now.
Awesome.
That came up. So, and
I'll bully you if you don't.
Yes, I'm okay with that. Yes, right. So branding before marketing, Ty the car guy likes that one. So, and then thank you both. I'm going to say that's Tom out there. Nope, that's Bob Donnell. So, yes. So look at that. Desmond is out there with that. So I'm sorry nobody's name's showing up. I have to pull it up on the side to go see it. But then you got to separate the wheat from the tares. I'm sure tares has something to do with wheat. I have no idea. But, we'll pretend. Yeah, of course, Tom, you're right. That's what you want to do. But you have one thing left to say to everybody, Henry. What do you say? Walk away. Remember this. What is your one thing?
Eliminate the confusion and amplify your solution. We want simplicity and clarity to cut through all the noise in this world.
Brilliant. 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 There you go. That's what we were seeing. Perfect. Okay, guys, Henry has helped you. Watch the replay. Go back through because you just got this for free. And for those of you that go, I could totally work with this guy. Heck yes. Right? Then get over to your simsmedia.com and put on that clarity call. Go get it. Get it done. You owe it to your business. You owe it to your family. You owe it to everybody who depends on you putting money on the table, right? So they can buy what they want. But and then there you go. There's another one. Lower the volume, right? Lower the volume of the confusion that's out there is what you're trying to do. I get you, Tom. But perfect. And as we typically do at the end of every one of these, everybody go out there and sell something.